Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome back to Sharp Edge News TV. Happy New Year. We made it into 2025. Happy New Year to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe. Bless you, sir. Hit the
Yeah.
like, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, get ready to welcome a man of two powerful roles, publisher of SharpEdgeNews.com and High Chief Odokwetu of Ayedi Ogbese, Ondo State. Whether in the newsroom or the kingdom is always ahead, a sharp edge ahead. Give it up for the legend, High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing me back. Then we want to thank God that we've been able to make it into the new year 2025. And you saw, I was going to sneeze, and I did sneeze. Just that I sneezed, like Martin Luther King Jr. would say. But for that sneeze, so we know we are alive. And this is how we get the year rolling. From my sneeze, you would understand the kind of winter storm that we have been dealing with in the heartland, that is, the state of Kansas and other adjoining states. And I know there is this prediction, very unusual, that Dallas-Fort Worth area, see, if my friends, the Tunde Fagbo Eguns and the family, they are hearing me, they said there is that possibility of Dallas-Fort Worth area, Arlington, Mansfield, having kind of snow. We
Oh,
don't know
wow.
if it's going to be the kind of blizzard that we have. If it's snowing and there is sustained wind about it for more than 4 hours, that is when you have blizzard. And if it's on the ground and the wind is blowing the snow from the ground, then you have what is called grand blizzard. That said, and with my sneezing, Kansas roads, all Kansas roads, unless you are dealing with emergency, they are on lockdown. Airport closed. Honestly, there is no war, but we are engaged with nature right now. And even somebody coming in to see us all the way from New York, LaGuardia, they've been told they can't fly today. That flight is rescheduled for Wednesday. You know who that person is. So one of our most valuable resource persons, Dr. Elizabeth Olayinka Omotayo, she won't be able to come into town because of what is going on. And we have other radical reorganizations going on with SharpEdgeNews.com, SharpEdgeNewsTV, and SharpEdge News Journalism Foundation. That is the way, the note on which the year is rolling in. We move there to the way the year is rolling in elsewhere. You have heard of the tragedy in New Orleans. 15 people killed, 14 of them by an hapless ISIS sympathizer, ISIS wannabe, who himself became the 15th victim. But if some people around the world, because they are so comfortable, can engage in that kind of needless luxury of life wastage, how about the people of Africa who every day have to deal with hunger, unemployment, and so many other things? And this is why the people of Owo, those states, have my sympathy, particularly the king of the community, Olowo of Owo, Oba Ajibade Badegeshi Ogunwoye II. This morning, Owo woke up to a needless round of violence in which at least 4 people have gone down. And guess what? This is not because of politics or anything. It's just because of some youth, that are well fed, and then now they are looking for somebody to split their stomach for them. And then they engage in street gangsterism, court war, between members of Aye and Eye Court. Isn't that unfortunate? And so many youths have been lost all across Nigeria because of court wars. We spoke with Oba Badegeshi Ogunwoye, a friend of the house, And I mean, by the way, it's been my friend from our IL school days at Toyemeku Grammar School, Akure, and then we attended the same university in Adó-Ekiti, where he specialized in banking and I read English. And he's also a lawyer called to the bar, retired permanent secretary of Ondo State Government Service. This morning, he told us they are on top of the situation and that it will be brought under control. Other people spoke with us, all kinds of people. Some people got it wrong. They thought it was a political face-off. No. And we think that will be kept under wraps. Still talking of the way things are going on in the new year, of course, you have heard of the unfortunate and tragic passing of the secretary to the government of Ondo State, Nigeria, the person of Mr. Tayo Oluwatoyi, also known while he was alive as Tukana. He passed on, succumbing to injuries sustained in an auto crash he suffered December 15th. But he passed on Saturday. We pray for the repose of his soul. May the good Lord comfort his family and the people of Akure, not just Akure Kingdom, Akure South and Akure North local government, and people of Ondo State generally. The state is in a situation of mourning at the moment, and our sympathies. We move, but let it be said that some people are ascribing it to issues other than what you can see on the surface of it. It's believed that there may be a dragon curse. We do not know. We do not have proof of things that are metaphysical. But if that is the truth, then let the Deji of Akure find something to do about this in consultation with other kings of Akure consciousness in Akure North local government, Akure South local government, and the federal local government. We think it is time to have a critical look on why Akure people in strong positions continue to pluck out untimely. That is that. Now, there is this scandalous situation in Nigeria in which a so-called Petroleum Retailers Association of Nigeria, Petron, they're asking and blackmailing the government of Nigeria to give them 100 billion naira, whopping 100 billion naira grant, soft landing, because of a so-called withdrawal of a petroleum subsidy all over Nigeria. And I'm like, what is that supposed to achieve? They said they maybe create a trust bank for them, and then they go there, they borrow that money, they recycle. And I said, if those of us in media industry are to ask for that, and people, vulcanizers, all kinds of people are holding Nigerian government by the jugular, asking for 100 billion, 200 billion naira soft landing. Isn't that some recipe for economic and political crisis right there? Let there be some thinking about that. Now we go to, finally, we go to Ayede community, where I'm told the Queen Consort, the Olori, who pretends in the place of her daughter, Adefunto, who illegitimately was enthroned as the regent of the community by a one-man king-making prime minister of the community. You know, the underbelly of what you know about the Nigerian judiciary, something that has been questioned by Far Rotimi, the embattled lawyer, in the celebrated epic case against Afe Babalola. They say, oh, somebody is trying to scandalize Nigerian judiciary against the chieftaincy declaration on Alayede's stool that says all kingmakers, 3 of us, must be involved in that process. You saw what Osadebe Akingba ruled at Ondo State High Court, saying Lisa can do it alone. Isn't that corrupt in itself? And then you are looking for proof that the Nigerian judiciary is not able to deliver on justice. So the Olori has continued to see the Odopetu, who has practically been in America for 2.5 years, in everything. Talk of paranoia, talk of schizophrenia. These were things that I personally was warned about this Olori. And I'm looking towards that day when she would, that Olori, Olufumi, Nejo, Oluyede, the day she would personally deliver slaps, practically deliver slaps on the governor of Ondo State, who continues to indulge her in all kinds of excesses and executive recklessness. The Olori lately has stormed the police station in Ayede Ogbese, ridiculing the police that she used to accomplish all kinds of shenanigans in the community. She has insulted all kinds of people and continued. Even when she, without my knowledge, brought caterers to Ayede Ogbese to cater food for her. She sees me in everything she does. And you said this person is not whack. You said this person has no mental problem. Let those who can mind her begin to think of how to take her to some asylum facility where a situation can be remedied. This is not anybody vilifying a widow. No, it's about a woman who loves power and wants to project it in a raw way. She doesn't play any role in who becomes king or who does not become king. She's manipulating all of them foreign into politics and using her demented approach into manipulating everybody into submission. Good luck to all of them. As for us here, it is going to be a good year and wish you a happy new year. The road may be rough, like the late Dr. Tashulari would say, but let me tell you that God permitting, we would be able to live it through and through. Thank you. Our report.
All right. Thank you very much for delivering a concise, precise weekly special SharpEdgeNews.com. I appreciate you so much. Without any further ado, do us a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, and follow. We do have some other trending news around the world. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So we do have this report on Peter Obi that we're going to cover real quick. Well, it's the new year, so we're trying to get back up to speed. So pardon us real quick. We have this news on news report on on The Guardian. Okay, the headline says Peter Obi decries intimidation, insists on fighting for better Nigeria. So it looks like Peter Obi had been dragged a little bit. I'm going to read a little small part of the report for you, and then I just want to hear your thoughts on it. Hold on 1 second. Let me just make sure that we're doing well here. Okay. All right. Good. Just wanted to make sure we have our illustrative picture on the picture. All right. Good. So this report on The Guardian says former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has vowed to continue fighting for a better Nigeria, even if it means paying the supreme price. I wonder what the supreme price is. That's a lot. Reflecting on the challenges of being in the opposition, Obi decried the intimidation, isolation, and sabotage he had faced, but reaffirmed his commitment to pushing for reforms that would uplift ordinary Nigerians. Responding to questions from newsmen after his New Year's address to the nation, he said, "It is extremely difficult to be in opposition in this country. Everything is against you. People don't want to see you or associate with you because they fear government backlash." And I quote, "My businesses and personal life have been attacked, but I've made my mind. If this is the end, so be it." Obi described the Nigerian political system as hostile to opposition voices, with deliberate efforts to silence dissent. But despite the perceived challenges, he emphasized the need for courageous leadership, stressing that sacrifices must be made to secure a better future for the nation's children. it is difficult to be in opposition in this country. Now, I have that report, right? But if you
Mm.
recall, we also covered the very dark man lost money and all that kind of stuff. He
Right.
came out eventually to say that it was a prank, but but then he
No,
tried to.
we actually, I mean, we made an attempt to hazard a guess on that, and we said it would be a very, anyway, his inconsistencies and his lack of ability to make the figures add up
Right.
actually was an indication of the fact that he may need his brains to be examined
Mhm.
concerning his claims. And the
Well,
fact
well,
that
here's
we're
the
able,
point. Here's the point, right? Let me
yeah,
make this
please,
quick
the fact
point.
that we're able to see through those inconsistencies
Mhm.
will tell you that this, I mean, the audience that we all dealing with by way of social media all over the world is,
Mhm.
I mean, alive and well by way of a logical and a critical
Right,
thinking.
right. And
Mhm.
contrary to his, because he came back to say it was a prank, and then he tried to rope that into addressing that we have to be careful with media, and media is going to destroy and blah 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 blah. Right. So I wanted to connect that together with Peter Obi's, also claiming here that there's massive dissent, or him being on opposition in Nigeria. So I wanted to see if you can wrap that all together, because again,
Yes,
it's very easy to play the
um,
victim in Nigeria.
yes, Ola, Peter Obi did not, I mean, you have done a good job asking, putting that caveat or raising doubt or asking a critical question about what constitutes the ultimate prize. Beyond that reasoning, you would also hear him saying it is difficult to be in opposition in Nigeria. Yes, it is not just difficult to be in opposition in Nigeria. If you are in opposition, how easy or how difficult it could be for you to be in opposition in Nigeria and to still survive, eke out a living. You had him elsewhere in that briefing saying that his businesses has been
Right.
under
And personal
enormous strain.
life. Hmm.
So I yield. You finish the point you want to make.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to. Okay. So I don't think Peter Obi is playing the victim. Okay.
Mm, yes,
Um, but I think with the kind of work that he's taken up on himself, on naturally is going to come with opposition.
yes.
You
See,
know, so
all
that's
let me,
so I'm trying to find what's the balance here. Is he just
the
playing the
balance
victim?
here is this. Let me tell you, and very good topic for us to discuss. Let me tell you, from the foundation of Nigeria as a modern nation state, evolving from several hitherto autonomous tribes and kingdoms and what have you, enclaves. Since the white colonizers departed and handed over the baton of leadership to African leaders amongst Nigerians, this mentality indeed crept in. I would illustrate. You know, I don't know how you can successfully practice journalism without delving into history. Sometimes the antecedent we did not just get to the point at which we are today. We're coming from somewhere. We are coming from somewhere. If you pick some of the write-ups of the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the then premier of Western region, who, in pursuit of what's it called, further political accomplishment, decided to contest into the federal parliament and ended up being the leader of opposition. You know, one thing he wrote and what he recalled by way of reminiscence, Obafemi Awolowo said that somebody stood up in the then federal house, in the House of Representatives, in the parliament in Lagos, and said, "Oh, some people are here. They are leaders of. They are. I mean, they call themselves kind of leader of opposition, and they would oppose and oppose and oppose until they have nothing to oppose anymore." Are you following the point I'm making?
Yes,
Hello,
yes, I'm with you.
The point I'm making exactly is that for the substantive government, the government de facto, there must be a shadow government, that is the opposition leadership,
Right.
that must be well funded and be a kind of constructive guide, offer alternatives to the government of the day. From the foundation of Nigeria, that in itself was stifled. You could imagine somebody standing up in the parliament, parodying Awolowo as a so-called leader of opposition that will oppose and oppose until he would have nothing to oppose. So, effective opposition, competitive democracy was stifled from the foundation of Nigeria. So much so that if you dared, even people who disagreed with Obafemi Awolowo in Western region and later in the successive 5 states of Lobo, Lagos, Ondo, Ogun, Bendel, and whichever other state, and today you have Delta and all of them coming from. If you dared as much as played in opposition to Obafemi Awolowo, you know what you will be described as Odale, and you will be described as Odale Baleku for daring to be in opposition, and some people paid the supreme price. So the supreme price that you are trying to dance around, to skirt around, is nothing other than death. Sometimes jungle justice. You have heard of Operation Wete, Wild Wild West. How people would be, set alight and be burned with tires and petrol, everything on them, their properties destroyed. That reluctance, that inability within us to tolerate opposition is ingrained right from the foundation of Nigeria. That is the point I'm making. And so I pity Mr. Peter Obi. He has said the obvious. If you dare sing a tune that is not in harmony with the government of the day, especially the type, Tinubu is coming from the school of Alliance Democracy, Unity Party of Nigeria, Action Group, and all these people. It is either you are with them or you are against them. And I do not say this lightly for attention seeking. Thank God there is a National Orientation Agency that worked effectively during the time of MAMSA, when it used to be known through its precursor, MAMSA. Babangida tried to educate Nigerians, to enlighten Nigerians to think as brothers, competitive, with healthy rivalry. But what we have with multi-party system, yes, I'm not too comfortable with Nigeria's multi-party situation, but that is what the Constitution says. And if the Constitution says that, even today, what I see is two strong political parties with ancillary proliferations of splinter political parties or associations that could be managed, and something that could galvanize a better future. It is good. Obi has raised this alarm. It is good that people are avoiding him at the airport, but worrisome. What it means is that opposition should be firm and effective, and they should not be divided. Of course, you remember that APC wouldn't have come into power until new PDP, a splinter group of people with disaffection from the then ruling PDP, teamed up with them with other political groups, CPC, and the then other political party being led by the man who is the president of Nigeria today. One thing anybody that is in power should think of is that tomorrow also comes. So if they find themselves on the opposition side, on the opposing side, would they love to be humiliated and dragged and disgraced the way they are treating people in opposition? Now, that you are in opposition does not mean that you cannot win federal government contracts. It doesn't mean that you cannot win contract from the ruling party in any given state. local government. But in Nigeria, the mentality of winner takes all. And
Mm-hmm.
is an excuse for trying to squeeze the nation hard towards corruption and fraud. You understand? A
Mm-hmm.
nation that doesn't see equal access, that does not consider equal access for all citizens, whether you voted for somebody or you did not, that cannot really be what it saw. Look at us in America here. We enjoy everything. It does not matter if Republicans are in government or Democrats. We know in that pursuit of happiness, in the preamble to our Constitution in America, we all are guaranteed that safety net, that we all must be protected as citizens with equal rights. But what is it like in Nigeria? Food for thought right there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And to think that the media must be, must be viewed with circumspect. Yes, but who do we look out for within the media? It's people like Very Dark Man himself. People like Very Dark Man himself. How could he have now he would want to play smart? It's not April Fool.
He was trying to play smart, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to want to pull the wool on everybody's eyes that way, it's not proper. It's irresponsible of him. Honestly, he's stretching his luck too far. Until he sees the other side of Nigerians, he may not know what he is toying with. Yeah. Honestly, he doesn't know what he's toying with. But I thank God. Yeah, I thank God for people in well-established media, not institutional media or the media that is the exception of the ruling party in Nigeria, but everybody across board, journalists, serious-minded individuals could take the content of his productions apart, and then were able to point out that some of the claims there were incongruous. They were incongruous. They were in dissonance with common sense. So we knew very early that this guy may just be out to prank, and indeed he has zoned up.
Yeah,
we caught him.
I said he's not a stupid guy, but he's stupid enough to prank.
Well, honestly, Ola, if you cannot say it, I'm older than him. I'm old enough to be his father. He's not just capable of playing a stupid prank. He's also stupid. He's stupid.
Yeah.
Of wasting our time that way.
Yeah. I could have a baby in 1994 too. He was born in 1994. I could have asked. So
you could even have been his father. You could have been his father if you were the filler during the high school time. You could have been his father. So I mean, little boy, let's just give him.
He's gonna learn the hard way. We shall see. We did here.
We are teaching him the hard way now. Go back, Kolori. I'm fully Kolori. So that Koloshomo Dada. You know, stupid boy, very dark boy, or very dark man, whatever.
All right. Join the conversation in the comment section, please. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Let's start off the new year with some fire. All right. Join the conversation, but also help us hit the like button. We're 4 followers away from being able to go live on Facebook again. So please go and follow us on Facebook. We appreciate you for doing that. Without any further ado, we do have some other speaking of, let me see, opposition. We do have some other trendy stuff around the world. We'll be right back. All right, so we have Trump prayer breakfast. Nathaniel Bassey to lead. Nigerians, Nathaniel Bassey to lead in. I honestly, to be honest with you, I don't know. I didn't know what the prayer thing was about, but there's a report here on The Nation. Isn't The Nation your old family?
Oh yes. I worked with the organization when it was, when it used to be known as the Comet newspaper, Turning Point Newspapers Limited, and then when the new owners, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu bought it, it was renamed The Nation, and briefly I was there, and I even reported for the organization from the United States in America here while I was I mean, going from one hospital to the other for
Mm-hmm.
medical rehabilitation, of course, because of the massive injuries I got on the line of duty. And
Mm-hmm.
then after I left, you know, I mean, they were paying my salaries until, I mean, even while I was in the United States here. And after I left, obviously they couldn't take all of us in with the new arrangement, and I was told. So I moved on, and Deola Deola
Fire.
Fire later
Okay.
came at came at some point as the correspondent in the United States here before
Oh,
he also
interesting.
moved on. Yes, so yeah,
Interesting.
it's the family to which I belong, and I go to the nation today in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
My colleagues are still there. They are always very happy to see me. Let me also give you a gist. There were times I would import vehicles into Nigeria, and I would not have enough money for the custom duties and what have you. I would run to my editor at the Nation newspaper. I didn't even know where I wanted him to come up with the money. I didn't know how I expected him to come up with some money to assist me with the clearance. You know, some
Mm-hmm.
people, they will tell you they are self-made and that nobody is
There's no such
totally
thing.
self-made. Yeah,
There's
you
no
rub
such
off
thing.
on people, people rub
Mm-hmm.
on you. So my boss, who was the editor that hired me originally and continued as the editor of the Nation newspaper,
Mm.
Mr. Benga Motosho, who today, is the commissioner of information in Lagos State, will just write me a check, go take care of it. And as a matter of
Wow.
integrity, once I cleared the vehicle, and if my situation reflected from
Mm.
America or within Nigeria, I probably paid back. I don't owe him anything
Wow.
in terms of money, but I owe him tons and huge uh, stuff in terms of appreciation. He's indeed a big ego. He asks after my family. He wants to know everything about me, how I'm doing. Even now, as his commissioner of uh, information in Lagos State. But there was this other person who was my mentor too there as political editor. Somebody went to lie to him just because I was so close to. Of course, you remember how close I was to Chief Ojoma Adueke, the then minister and the big man in politics in Nigeria.
Right.
So Ojoma Adueke would want to hold events. He would decline talking to any journalist until I showed up. This guy who is actively involved in also because I don't want to embarrass him, but he went to tell this political editor that if you see Abito Gudaboy is a real Yoruba Juju man. He has jazzed up the minister. The minister cannot talk without seeing Abito go anywhere. Abito go has caged him. I said, look at this, look at this riffraff. And I allowed them. Even when this other political editor became a top-notch, a commissioner in Ogun State, even when he was working with somebody in the Senate as whatever to Senate president, I refrain from getting close. It's almost like the fate of Wole Soyinka, when people would tell Shina Achebe not to take a ram from him. This thing has been sham. Of course, you know how to just laugh it off and look at these people as unserious-minded. Yes, I'm a high chief, but I'm not that kind of person who is satanic or diabolical. And I never enchanted Chief Ojoma Adueke. He loved me, and I loved him. Simple, not the other way you are thinking. No, we just had a mutual affection for each other. And Dr. Oke Okechukwu is a senior special assistant. Will still tell you that was the relationship. If you have something mentally, if you have something to contribute, people, high class is in the Bible. If you do your work with due diligence, you will move before kings and nobles. But this guy went to just plant that rubbish that Abitogun has pocketed Ojoma Adueke. He has jazzed him up. It's juju. Ojoma Adueke cannot eat a bowl of amala without Abitogun. I'm like, can this person be serious? And that person is even playing a crucial role in mobilizing Nigerians today. He's there. He knows himself. And that is what they will be propagating all over the country.
All right. You spent about 5 minutes talking about Madueke. We're talking about Trump and Nathaniel Bassey. But
that's
good,
right.
Good story. But
Yeah.
we're talking about Trump's breakfast. And we got into this because the Nation reported this, and I was about to read
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Nation.
I have a strong professional pedigree with the Nation and
The Nation.
the
Yes,
precursor
yes.
of the Comet. Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right. Now, the United States government has invited renowned gospel artist Nathaniel Bassey to minister at the inaugural prayer breakfast for President-elect Donald Trump on January 20. The event is slated to be held in Washington, D.C. The famous gospel musician is the only Nigerian and African artist on the lineup. The U.S. presidential inaugural prayer breakfast is a non political, faith based event held every 4 years before the swearing in of a new administration. It focuses on prayers and worship as spiritual support for the US president and government. Taking to his Instagram account, the 44-year-old announced the invitation by sharing the event poster with the caption, "Let's raise a sound in America. See you January 20th." In addition to that, just about 2 hours before we went live, Kamala Harris has certified Donald Trump's win. That's why I said, speaking of opposition. So there we have it. So what do you have to say about this? And what, how do you
Number
feel?
one, number one, let us commend the smooth transition arrangement. The former or the outgoing vice president, in his capacity or in our capacity as the America's Senate president, has certified the entire process. You see how it's supposed to be. It was so chaotic. You see the level of maturity here. Let us commend that, number one, and that what Mr. Donald Trump could not give to us, what he could not give to the world easily, is what is being given. Is having some teachable moments. I hope is allowing it to rub in. This last
Go
time.
ahead, go ahead. Continue. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Then
4 minutes.
Number two is the fact that yes, a Nigerian musician will be performing there. You can see Nigerians jumping all over. You can imagine the way Nigerians will jump all over town. But what does it translate to? All I can do at this moment is to join millions of Americans like me, millions of Nigerian Americans like you and I, to make sure that Donald Trump runs this country without any fiasco, without any hiccup. We pray that he will save land. Yes, prayers, they do not amount to much, and they amount to so much if somebody would be able to temper it with personal conduct and character. That is all I have to say about that.
Absolutely.
So there is another person they should have invited over. There was somebody in northern Nigeria that made a song for Donald Trump, maybe thinking when he gets there, it will be a way of getting an easy visa to come over. Of course, Nigeria needs America, America needs Nigeria. That is where to go. So that is how we keep the situation balanced.
Yeah, I say congratulations to Nathaniel Bassey, Nigerians, Donald Trump, and may his term be fruitful for all of us.
I say amen, and I pray that Nathaniel Bassey too will give us effective representation there. Do not just go there and carry lies. Nigeria know they carry lies too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, join the conversation in the chat. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, and turn up your notifications. We do have some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back. All right, Nysc Fiasco, the backlash over registration chaos. NYSC has been trending for, I don't know, maybe 24 hours, maybe some hours, 12 hours or so. There's a report here on thisdaylive.com. It says, as the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, enables a portal for 2024 Batch C Stream 2 online registration, many prospective corps members are expressing dissatisfaction over the inability to access the site. The registration, which closes on January 10, is a prerequisite for mobilization for the mandatory camp participation as well as primary assignment. Meanwhile, some aggrieved persons have taken on social media to register their concerns after making several attempts to register without fruition. A Twitter handle revealed his personal experience while trying to express the portal, and I quote, "Today is NYSC registration and your portals are showing unavailable. You had over 3 months to prepare for this, yet you're still unprepared. Nothing surprises me in this country anymore." While the NYSC insists that the portal is active, many are still unable to access Wahala. Still unable to access it using the provided link and the directions. Another tweet with the handle Nemikas noted NYSC registration site is not working, which means that after last time they didn't bother improving the site to be able to take up the expected traffic for this year. They left it. Sorry about that. They left it. Let me see. They left it, and the prospective corps members are suffering around the country, wasting valuable economic hours. This site is inaccessible as at the time of filing this report. So I guess NYC is like, what would you call the equivalent of NYC in the United States? Like people being drafted for service, or being
Maybe
registered for drafting?
no, it's not equivalent to being drafted. I mean, if there's going to be a war situation and somebody, is drafted, that's precisely completely military. But in this case, this one is quasi-military. But when you go through the process, the camping situation is a orientation camp. So it's just like what is captured in the essence of the NYC anthem. Youth obey the clarion call. Let us lift our nation high. Whether under the sun or in the rain, Nigeria will this and that. What I don't. It's been a while since I went through the experience, and it's not anyway national anthem that I. What we send here,
Yeah.
in essence, everything that is wrong with the current registration process has been captured so succinctly in the two items that you paraphrased, that you quoted, that you read out there. Frustration, the time that was supposed to have been used to straighten things out. Whether as a member of the National Youth Service Corps, then NYSC, or while reporting from the bit of women and youth affairs as a journalist, I have made my contributions in ways that historians would consider imperishable. So honestly, I believe that those who are minding the estate now, the what's it called, the service corps now, should be able to listen to what our youth want and make this work properly. And as to the sensitive mention of the draft that you mentioned, people even thought that NYSC members could be, or core members could be exposed to handling of arms, being trained, and be put in the pool of reservation for Nigerian armed forces in case of, what we have today. Instead of having a standby youth army in Nigeria that would signal to the entire world that Nigeria continues to be relevant in terms of what's it called, being a strong powerhouse on the West African sub-region and indeed on the African continent. What we have is a army of unemployed youth, hungry persons, and what have you all over the place. In the past, NYC would cultivate farms that were run effectively by core members, particularly those who read sciences relating to agriculture. But today, that's no longer the situation. And Nigeria continues to say, oh, there is hunger. And really, there is hunger in the land. So maybe when they are thinking of Agbado Ewa and all kinds of stuff that would feed Nigerians sustainably, they should look in the direction of NYC. But before we cross that, we get to that river so that we can have some bridge with which to cross.
Right.
I think we need to fix the broken issues of the day concerning NYSC. And that done, everybody will be at ease too, because you don't really want to toy with the anger of youth.
Youth.
You don't want to deal with this frustration, especially when they are educated and motivated.
Right.
Nigerians have seen it in the past over and over. End SARS, end bad governance. Nobody can predict what is next to end. So they should fix that border, and if they cannot do it by way of IT, I know there are kidnappings and banditry all over Nigeria, but then there should be some way of allowing our youth. Now, with my age, I can refer to them as our children. There should be some easy way for them to access registration so that they can do the needful. As to the continued relevance of NYC, that is a debate we should have.
So the service I was trying to think of here is called the Selective Service System. It's a requirement for, I think, all male citizens between 18 and 25. We were all required to register for selective service if we were collecting any form of financial aid for education while we were in school. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking about. It's completely...
Yeah, but it's only in the rule, not in the. I mean, it's not even strictly enforced in the United States.
No, it's not. It's only if you are taking financial aid
right.
while we were in school. Yeah, and it's different. So speaking of, NYSC is required by anybody under 30 who finished school, right?
Yes, and if you are older than 30, you are exempted, and you are issued a certificate showing that you are older than 30, and so you can be part of it.
But let me ask you this question: Do you watch Honest Bunch podcast with the Nedu and them? Have you stumbled into that? Okay,
no,
I'll see if I can send you.
Yeah.
So there's a guy, you would know him, Kenny Keke Ogungbe.
Right? I know Kenny Ogungbe.
Yeah. Aha. So he was on there as a guest last week.
You can call him the revolutionary when it comes to Nigerian music and television industry.
Exactly. Yes. Music industry. Yes. So
Dark Communications, AIT, all of them. He was there. Kenny Music.
Yeah, exactly. So he was talking about. So I guess he was a prodigy of Dr. Bassey, who was the owner of
yes, and probably his in-law too. I think
it was an in-law. Yes, it was a brother-in-law. Is it brother-in-law? Yeah, brother-in-law.
Yes.
The sister was married to Dr. Bassey. Yeah. So he was telling a story, and they asked him, and come to find out, Dr. Bassey passed on last year, I think 2023. And come to find out that just before he passed on, he had asked Kenny Ogungbe to go and serve in the NYSC, and he registered to serve, and he was in the middle of that program when he passed on. So Kenny Ogungbe should be somewhere around 60-ish now, if I'm not. So now, you said if you're above 30, you're exempted, right?
Yeah.
So, but I've also had friends who would go back to Nigeria and, before they can work for government, they would ask them, he's 64 years old.
Government, politics and all that.
Right. So they will have to serve for 1 year, We also know that in Nigeria, if you have essay, how do you call it? Influence, right? You can be posted you can be posted anywhere, because many people don't want to be posted into the Sambisa forest. Right? So now, with all of that going on with the NYSC, I'm not really too surprised that the website is not working. I think that's the least of the issues.
Well, you're talking of all kinds of structural issues right there. And there are things that are human and that can be fixed. If the IT stuff is being, is properly tackled, you can be sure that human error and influences in some of these things will be reduced to the barest minimum. I do not know how Oga Ogungbe in his 60s would find his way
64, 63.
64. You find a 64 years old man around a youth that are between 18 and 30. Are you not going to be looking around to see something is wrong?
What's going on?
If everything is okay.
Right,
in America,
right.
people would even think that the man is creepy. But we
Right.
don't know. He probably was just doing that. He was probably doing that to prove some points.
So they asked him why did he do it, and he said Dr. Bassey asked him to go and do it.
So it is a matter of command and obey. We do not know the full story right there, but yeah, probably he's nursing some political ambition, and it feels like somebody may be asking him for the certificate at some point.
Yeah.
All said and done. If the private sector in Nigeria is thriving, why would anybody even be thinking of NYC? I have the NYC certificate. I even brought it with me to the United States of America here. If I look in my cabinet here, I will show you the paper. But you see, it's fun to have gone through the experience. While we were there in Delta State, we did unusual things. I mean, I cannot forget the experience of dragging the Director General of NYC then, SM Dule, into the live studio that we call Orientation Broadcasting Service, OBC. From there, we also started a copper courier. It was unprecedented in the history of NYC in Delta State. And we got grants from the State Directorate to run the publication. You know, we were cutting our path. And there were times we hosted the governor of Delta State. And I asked the people there, I won't be part of that crowd that will be looking for a job in Nigeria. And really, I never even spent a day without being employed after NYC in Nigeria. You know, and on like that. You are part of some of my story. And you know what we're talking about. My good friend in Abuja, Jide Ojo, that you see is a media personality, and he's a political scientist. He took the baton from me as the pioneer editor-in-chief of Copper Courier in Delta State. I hope the publication is still on. It's not about going through that experience alone. Do we always allow the experience to go through us as well? You see the point I'm making?
Let me ask you, do you think I missed out?
Not exactly. You were born in the United States, Ola. With all the
no, I'm talking about because Ola, I went to school in Nigeria now.
Let me tell you,
did I miss out on anything?
You did not miss out anything. If you go to Nigeria, if they like you, let them employ you as a citizen. If they don't, let them employ you as an expatriate. But let me tell you the good news.
Yes.
Even if you end up being a cleaner in America and you are earning an average salary, what's it called? An hourly wage of $14.
$14 an hour.
$14, $15, $18 an hour, $25. Put it together in a month. You may be clocking close to maybe between 3 million to 4-5 million in a month. Can you compare with the insult they pay workers in Nigeria, and they are saying they have done them a favor of $40 a month minimum wage? So
no, overall, no. But the standard of living here is it's not exactly as fun as you just sounded.
But in some places in Nigeria as well, if people are not corrupt, so you have this. It's like the old man and the medal. You are dancing with this NYC certificate. What is the quality of life that it affords you, really? If you are a permanent secretary in Nigeria, minister, if you go by your salary, even as president, you think you earn much? You don't even earn as a janitorial person in America. But because they have to steal from the cookie jar, everybody thinks, oh, life in Nigeria is okay. But let us continue to celebrate it like that, because for the little I've said now, all of them will be coming after me like a blood
all right.
hungry shark. Yes, they will be okay eventually.
All right.
They go there all right too. Then go there all right. You know. So this is the situation, Ola.
Yes, sir.
I don't think you have missed out. And what is it that
Sometimes I feel like I missed out by not going to university in Nigeria or by
that is
serving
just
in
that,
the.
like you often say, Ola, that is just
Mhm.
by way of sentimental feeling. It's it's your brain that
Not
is.
feeling, not feeling. No, there's no doubt about that. Not just feeling so.
Yes, I had fun. I mean, the woman I married in my um, first and marriage, I met during my NYC year. But the
Mm-hmm.
truth of the matter is that unless you are able to create that fund for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you may, yes, you may, you may not. And really, I mean, I had gone through so much before I even went for NYC. I was involved in the politics of Akure, local
Right,
government. I
right.
mean, you remember and all those things. Even
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I
I
went
remember.
to serve, when I went to serve, they sent me to one school,
Where did you
Goshen
serve?
College.
Where?
I served in Asaba, Delta,
Asaba
Oshimili
Delta.
South local
Okay.
government. Let me give you this funny thing. So
Mm-hmm.
they sent me to Goshen College, and I see they would think I'm slandering the owner now, but I saw the way they were treating core
Was it a
members.
private school?
Private school. I saw the way they were treating core members, even lawyers in the husband's chamber. And I had my reservation, and you know me anyway, no. And then they felt like this. I just looked for redeployment, and I went to serve as a press secretary to the chairman of Oshimili South local government,
Mm.
Mr. Uboma, who came from Okogbele. Okogbele. You know, I know all the corners and crannies of Delta State like the back of my hand.
Mm.
You know, when I listen to people pronounce Ubuchukwu and what Iseluku and all those Ibuzo,
Mm-hmm.
Ogwashuku, Umunede, Agbo, wherever, Opanam, the hometown of the first Nigerian military revolutionary, uh,
Mm.
um, what's his name? Kaduna Nzegu, where he was buried. And I'm like, God, I'm blessed. It's
Mm.
also a good thing to have been born in Nigeria, but it would also have been better for us to be able to impact the place and own it. Not
Mm.
it. Then it wasn't like this. You could go anywhere in Nigeria and sleep.
Mm.
Jalingo, Yola, all over Nigeria, whether as a youth or as a journalist, I felt at home everywhere.
You felt
Abakaliki,
safe. You felt
wherever.
safe. Mm.
Today it's no longer like that in Nigeria. You go to
Mm.
some communities, you want to have to change hotel accommodation 3 times before
Mm.
they
Just to
because you
make
don't
sure.
feel even in your own hometown, you find the so-called chiefs
That's sad.
that are
That's sad.
corrupt and fraudulent,
Yeah.
negotiating over your head, bringing bandits to town to come and kidnap and kill you for being a truth teller. This is what you get in Nigeria today, and whether they like it or not, I know that a beautiful set will be born that will fix Nigeria. The hope
Mm.
is not completely lost.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Anyway, just as a form of for anybody who is in the United States who is because I know I mentioned the selective service thing and the draft. It's
Yeah.
very important to note that the U.S. does not currently have a draft in place.
Yes,
The
I
selective
think it was
service.
last used during the Vietnam, the war with Vietnam. Yeah,
No, it's so it's used. Is basically what is used for is just to have enough pool just in case, right? So they said
yeah,
they don't. It's a requirement to ensure the availability of a pool of potential military personnel in the event of a national emergency. That's
that's
all
right.
it's for. Yeah. But yeah, join the conversation. That's all we have for you today. Happy New Year. Join the conversation in the comment section. Again, we're 4 followers away from being able to go live on Facebook again. So please go follow Sharp Edge
Let's
News TV
let's
on
make it
Facebook.
happen. Happy
Yeah.
New Year again.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Whether the road is rough or not, let us rough it through because we are tougher. I don't want you to go by the matter of Nigeria may be tough. Tougher is tougher. No.
So
All
far.
right.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Cheers.
God bless. Yeah.